Hey, it's Deconversion Therapy. This is the Tennessean Karen.
I don't want to say this is the Floridian, but this is Bonnie.
You have to. It's your identity, and it's your pronouns now, Floridian.
You know what else starts with F?
Listen, mine sucks more than you. Defantis. Yeah. So welcome to Lettersodes. You guys write us the best letters, and it makes our day, and we appreciate it so much. And you know how this goes. Just if you could rate and review, and if you want to, you could even share this. We post our things on all the social media, and if you ever just want to share
podcast episodes,
that just helps. Because podcast episodes, because we have people every day saying, "Oh, I didn't know you had a podcast."
That's because you're so involved with TikTok and doing video there, which is great. That is a great way to find us.
I'm doing it less, and you know why. So here's a few of my stories that might entertain you, might horrify you. I've gotten on, as people who live in Liverpool say, Freds.
Oh, God.
Still a great joke. Gotten on Threads. And I really like it because I don't have to prepare anything. I'm better at writing than speaking. I don't have to put on makeup. Doesn't care about the lighting. Doesn't matter if my dog is barking. So I'm loving Threads at the moment. By the time you guys listen to this, it could be a hellhole. I don't know. But I'm enjoying it, and another reason I'm just sort of not backing away from TikTok, but I'm going to be posting different kinds of things, as I've said before. There's so many people that are in this, quote, space of leaving church, have left church, that they're covering all the things we used to cover and doing it well, and they don't need to have two people telling them the same thing. But for people, and Bonnie doesn't know this, so I put up something on Instagram a while ago, and there was arguing in the comments about the meme. Now, you know that's my least favorite thing, because they argue in a way as if I have made the meme, although it does not have.
Were they arguing about what it meant,
and
or how it was interpreted, or what the joke was?
So it was about, it showed a medieval cartoon painting, and it was about, I don't know, no meat Fridays, and someone said to the priest, "But are eggs okay?"
Oh, right.
And they're like, "Yeah," and they're like, "But right."
But wait,
so there
for
was
people
arguing.
who haven't seen it, explain it. Keep going. So, no. He said meat's not okay to eat. And Jesus was like, "That's right. But eggs are okay." And he's like, "Yeah, that's right. So what you're saying is it's not meat until it hatches." And he's like, wait a minute. That's not what I was saying. So it was like an abortion joke.
Right. And it was like a priest. But it was a medieval drawing, because the church's been around for a long time. And so then it was, I don't think that you should be saying this, because I should have saved it, but I deleted it after a while, because grocery eggs are not fertilized. And then someone said, "I am so glad you pointed this out. This is insane." And it kept going. And so what I did, and dear listener, please listen to the end, is I've realized, Bonnie, we've grown to the point that the reason people liked us for being snarky and back at ya and don't be shit piles is now something we can't do. Do you know what I mean?
Huh?
So
we can't say that?
I was...
Or we can't not be shit piles?
So no. Where I would be like, "Oh, come on," or, who cares? I wouldn't say who cares, but I'd be like, "Hey, no shit piles here," whatever. I was doing that in the comments. And then someone wrote me like, "Hey, a lot of people support you, and this, behavior, And I'm like, oh, shit. like what we were relaxed in doing that brought a lot of people to us in the first place, we've grown to a place that I have to be careful and not do that anymore. So it is a learning experience for me. I will still be a little snarky, but it won't be in the comments and it won't be to people. I'll do it in posts. But yeah.
You know what? You have to pretend that you're so big that you don't have time for it.
Is that it?
I mean, that's a way you can spin it in your own mind.
See, I do like to respond to everyone's comment or give them a like. I want them to feel heard.
Well, no. But like what I'm saying is when you feel like you shouldn't be responding to people, just think, I'm too busy. I don't have time for that. And
meetings.
Then you'll feel good about everything. And it can be a lie to yourself, but that's okay.
I'm going to have to do that.
Because we do want to respond to the nice
and that's it. So I am very like... I'll dig in there.
Oh my God, they got you on a
it just went on.
They got you on a technicality about fertilized eggs.
And other people going, yeah, I think it's irresponsible to post this. And that's when I'm going, oh, shit. Like, one, we didn't make it. Two, it's a joke, And they're like, yeah, but people are deconstructing, and this gives incorrect information. So I get niggly. And I'm like, it's a medieval picture. Wow. They didn't have grocery stores. You tell me their eggs weren't fertilized. So there goes me, just being me, and realizing I can no longer do that. So it's going to be a learning curve for me. But it is what it is. And you all suck. No, you don't. I still do appreciate and love everyone. And it's a learning part for me. Not for other people.
Yep, and all you have to do is repost my banana who meme.
It will tear the house down. It'll go golden.
That's right.
So now let's read some letters from people who send them in, and then let's tear them a new asshole. Because I feel it's been bubbling up.
All right, so I will start.
Okay.
Let's see. This person's story. It's called The He-Man Conundrum.
I already know.
What?
I'm predicting. Okay, go ahead.
Okay, fine. You can predict. Okay. Not sure if there's a limit to how many stories someone can send, but I have decades worth.
Go for it. Like we keep track of the names. This is an empty skull.
Yeah, and we keep track of your names and we report you to your friends and family who are still Christians and
your
might
pastor.
Want to.
Right.
Yeah. Okay, so they say, a neighbor used to take care of me after school. She also took care of her grandson, Michael. Michael was a huge He-Man fan, something forbidden in my house. Huh. Well, okay, never mind. I won't ask. For those of you who know who He-Man is, let me know. Isn't that just that big muscle guy with long blonde hair?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, you got it. And just like a loincloth. Yeah.
Ooh. Most afternoons were spent happily running around Michael's grandmother's playing He-Man. At home when asked, what did you do at Michael's? I'd say, played in the backyard, leaving out details lest I be removed from the exciting, magical world. Fast forward to summer. My parents send me to a very conservative Christian camp. The first evening, we are introduced to a song. The lyrics are forever seared in my brain. Yoda, Obi-Wan Kenobi, using the Force. E.T. with his magic finger. He-Man with his sword. All of these are using powers God's word does not... Wait. All of these are using powers God's word does condemn. The Bible calls this sorcery, and sorcery is sin. Read Deuteronomy. Apparently it goes on.
What? That's a song? That is the worst song?
I know. I'm wondering if it's like to the song or to the tune of a song that we would know. And I just can't figure out
because
like
it's that's rough. Yeah.
So I'm making it a rap like Yoda, Obi-Wan Kenobi using the Force. E.T. with his magic finger, He-Man with his sword. So
That
I'm just gonna assume that it
will
was to a
catch
rap.
on. Banana Who, second release, the rap.
All right. Since Star Wars was also banned in my house, okay, how sad is that? That's, why Star Wars was banned? Because they didn't want you knowing that same, like, folklore of good and bad is through every
What?
part of the world. What?
Are you telling
Gilgamesh.
me that the story of a person who grows and realizes that they're to save the world and conquer bad? Okay, yeah, it's old. People.
And kiss their sister. That's all in the Bible. No.
Yeah.
Okay, so they said, I didn't know what the first lines meant. Watching E.T. traumatized me, so I didn't care if he was on the list, but not He-Man. He-Man evil? He-Man sinful and condemned by God? To me, He-Man meant fun and friendship. My mind was spinning, and I did the only thing an 8-year-old could do. Oh, 8. I refused to sing the song. I shut my mouth tight every time the song began. If the counselors noticed, they never questioned and probably just thought the words were too hard for my tiny brain. All I knew was that I wasn't going to betray my friend Michael by singing bad words about He-Man. Michael's grandmother moved away at the end of that summer, and I didn't get to spend many afternoons at her house anymore. But I'll always be grateful for the introduction to imaginative fantasy worlds. And that is from Millie.
Millie, I didn't know gender identifying, so I thought it was your gateway into homoerotic play because He-Man is a big symbol for gay men, and I'm like, yeah, well, he's naked and then he wrestles people and he has a long sword. There's a lot. Just Google it and just let your parental controls go down 1 to stage 9. You'll see plenty.
I kind of picture him looking like Keith from
Righteous, he does. Clean
from Righteous
Keith.
Gemstones. A clean Keith.
Exactly.
I don't know. Is Keith dirty? I haven't seen this season yet.
I've been watching a little bit of it, and I posted because my friend Jake was the photographer for it, and I couldn't say anything until the episodes came out. But he has some good ones of Keith, too.
Aww.
And, I mean, Danny McBride's mind is crazy.
He's so
I
funny.
love it.
Yeah. Whew. All right. Well, that was a good one.
Okay, I'm going to read one, and this is from Mark, the one who wrote the first gospel.
Right.
Okay, it says, "Hi, ladies, love your show." And there was an exclamation mark. I grew up in the 80s and 90s, occasionally attending an Episcopal church I used to think was influenced by extremism. I don't know. I later learned my childhood church was heavily involved in a split of the Episcopal church. The breakup involved gay and women's rights. Oh, I remember. And I'm from Texas, so you know which side of the debate my church was on. The Methodists are doing that right now. And of course,
the Methodists.
The Southern Baptists are like, we're not even voting. Okay. This story isn't about my Episcopal upbringing, but about being pulled into the Bible church orbit as a young adult. Most of my friends married and moved to other cities. I was single at the time, still living in my hometown and feeling down on myself. Never, ever feel bad for being single. That's from a married woman.
Oh,
happily married.
I thought you were going to say for being in your hometown. Like,
that
you can.
is different.
That's okay.
I became easy prey for a coworker who was constantly inviting everyone to his Bible church. Anytime it says Bible in the name, it's hightail it out of there. After declining many times, I finally said yes, thinking I'd make some new friends my age, and besides, quote, how bad could it be?
Well,
it turns out
you're
it can be
gonna find
very
out.
bad. The pandemic created the separation I needed to leave the orbit of this church and all churches for good. But I recently learned that in 2021, this Bible church successfully sued in federal court for the right to deny benefits or employment to gay or transgender job applicants. Congratulations, you Bible-y piece
how many
of shit.
how many people could they employ anyway?
Exactly. It just
Come
takes one, as
on.
we're seeing with the Supreme Court, or one that's made up. Doesn't matter. During my years of involvement with this bonkers Bible church, I once had the misfortune of going on a 6-day mission trip to a Mexican border town. The white savior
God.
complex was strong with this bunch, as
Yeah.
was the superstition that God wouldn't allow anything bad to happen to our traveling party since we were there to do, quote, the Lord's work. I can't
course.
wait to see how they rationalize it when it does happen, because that's what we did all the time. The Bible Church actually ignored the federal government's travel advisory warning Americans not to visit certain cities in northern Mexico due to a recent upswing in drug cartel-related violence. What, Bonnie? What?
No kidding. I don't even read the news that closely, and I could have been like, steer clear.
Does God steer clear? No. Let me get Zen. He's barking for food. Hold on.
Aw.
He won't stop barking. Then he says, mostly the trip was pretty damn dull. In true complementarian fashion, the women and the girls put on vacation Bible school for the Mexican children. Ready for this? In contrast, the boys and men had the option of participating in a home building project or a sports ministry.
Of
Just
course.
picture our doofy guys. Remember, they would kick a football around a beach and try and get other people to play, and that was their missionary work.
Yeah, which seems a little predatory now thinking about it.
Absolutely.
You know, because I'm picturing a certain boyfriend of yours' younger brother with no shirt on and his shirt like tucked into the back of his jean shorts. And, you know,
No. Can't even.
and I mean, he
but
looked nice without a shirt. That's fine. But that's even more scary when you think of it in hindsight. Like, why are you talking to my son? Why are you trying to get him to come to church with you?
right,
Anyway.
right. Exactly.
Okay, go ahead.
That was the kind of guy who was like model looking, but also had a folded Bible in his back pocket. And
Right.
yeah, no bueno. Okay, What is a sports ministry, you ask? Oh, no, we know. Bonnie and I know. It's basically a team of goofy white guys playing pickup
That's
games
right.
of soccer against
right.
local boys. How is that a ministry? Well, we gave out little prizes each day after a mandatory Bible lesson. During the halftime water break. Oh my God, you're just thirsty. You're dehydrated. And I mean, I'm
Always
sorry.
a trick. Yeah.
Mexico? You think they haven't heard of Jesus? All right. And then on the final day, we would invite the Mexican children to, quote, give their hearts and lives over to Christ. Yes, I know the people in Mexico were already Christians, but then evangelicals don't think Catholics are actually Christians. You're very correct.
Yeah, that's right.
Of course,
All
these
this
boys...
is like tracking. Yep.
We're triggered. Of course, these boys answered our dumb questions. They wanted to get their hands on the bottles of cold Gatorade, and shiny new soccer balls we dangled in front of them. It goes without saying that our poorly conceived Bible lessons would do nothing to help them deal with their difficult lives. On the third day of the mission trip, a carload of Bible church teens being transported from our secure lodgings to the church where we were, quote, ministering to the locals, was involved in a disturbing incident. Their van was approached from behind. Their van was approached from behind by a truck that was being driven recklessly and reportedly had 2 passengers inside the cab brandishing semi-automatic weapons.
Oh my
The teens,
God.
I know. And that's it. You're just
this had
letting your fucking teens go. Like
Right.
parents,
If this had happened on our trip to the Bahamas, that's where I'm picturing all of the similarities. Like, I would have just passed out and just ran out and given myself up. I don't.
even if Bonnie wasn't even near it, she would just
right.
run out. The teens also reported seeing a captive in the bed of the truck who was bound and gagged. The truck was blaring its horn, and the gun-toting passengers were yelling for cars to get out of the way. And eventually, the church van, doofuses, got out of the speeding truck's way, too.
Yay.
And here's the thing. They're going to go home, and they're going to be like, God spared us. God took care of us. What about the fucking person in the back of the... Okay. The young Americans were shaken by the experience. They no longer felt an invisible God shield protecting them from harm. The Bible church leaders took the incident very seriously. And by very seriously, I mean that they pleaded with the kids not to tell their parents what happened because they were never in any, quote, real danger. I can see this happening.
My ass. I can't see that happening with us.
No, but Bonnie, you're already dead in the road, so you won't be going home. And Bonnie runs out in the road, take me, and gets run over by an ice cream truck.
Oh, why I laugh.
Bonnie and I want to write a comedy, and I'm telling you, let's just do it right now, because picturing you get run by an ice cream truck is killing me. Okay, and besides, the ability of the church to continue invading, visiting Mexico, could be put in jeopardy if they told their parents that it wasn't safe. So a bunch of naive kids and poorly prepared adults from the burbs had no business playing savior there. That's the end. I absolutely love this because I'm working on a side project I haven't even told you about called The Regretful Missionary. And I have other ex-missionaries involved, and we're going to be doing some things to try and tell and get it out to kids, like, stop doing it. Fucking stop doing it. It's insane.
It's so hard, though, because how do you turn away a trip to Baltimore? I'm naming places we went. How do you not go on a trip with your friends? And the church knows that, and they're counting on that.
Exactly.
So, I mean, it's all intertwined together.
It's
not you. You were a
pressure.
Legitimate missionary.
Well, when we did the ones when we were younger, like we were just ding-dongs.
Those are just how to keep your kids involved during the summer.
Yeah, keep them
with
busy.
Something better than,
and get a write-off or something like that.
Let me tell you what a friend of mine who is Jewish, but I don't think that it really matters, but I'm just saying it because it's a podcast about religion. He's got a friend who was a coworker. He's got a friend who is a coworker who lives in Mexico, and shit is always happening to her that is not good. Like her landlord giving her grief over something that's not her fault, and a job being taken away from her, and he will always say to me, and I asked her, how come you keep saying the Lord is so good to you? He's done this. Like, how come you keep saying that you have faith when this is what you've been handed? And I'm like, it's like all the memes that we put out there.
She made it through, you know.
Oh my gosh, I know. Anywho, but so that's my Mexico part. Yeah.
Thank you. I love a good missionary trip.
But it makes me wonder, like, okay, if I was just hanging out at the mall and all of a sudden, you know, if I were a teenager and hanging out at the mall and the Kardashians came up to me and they're like, oh my gosh, hi, don't you want to learn how to put on your eyelashes better? And I would think, yes, I do. I do want to learn that. And then they'd be like, okay, before we can give you a sip of this water, let me tell you about Jesus.
And then Kim gives you a new soccer ball. and then the ice cream truck comes.
I would probably be excited, though. Like,
I know.
Hey, look.
That's it.
So,
and
like,
that's exactly like this regretful
I guess what
missionary
they're counting
thing.
on.
Yeah, we're quote movie stars because we represent, you know, oh, the Lord has blessed those white people with money. And you're just like,
listen, and we also don't realize how much people want to be in our country.
Yeah.
Just because we shit on it doesn't mean other people don't want to be here. So I suppose give a little credit to our church leaders who knew, hey,
I would
we've
rather
got
have
something
them.
they want.
Yeah. I'd rather have them than
all right. So
some certain people. Okay. Hola. That means hello in Espanol. And that's just one of the many things that you can learn from our new sponsor, Babbel's app. Before my family went to Europe to see some family recently, we downloaded different apps to learn Italian. And I actually was getting familiar with the accent and the sound of the language, and then added in the vocabulary, and it was perfecto. If you've always wanted to learn a language, now is the time. It only takes 15 minutes a day. You can learn Portuguese because that's where we're going to have our cult when it's time. You can learn Turkish because that's where everybody's going to get plastic surgery these days. So in their language, you can say just a little off the top. I'm proof that it's never too late to learn a new language. Plus, it's really good for the old, gray matter up there. Our special link for our followers is right there in the show notes. Just click on that. You're ready to go. Arrivederci.
I will read a story.
Do it.
All right. So, I haven't read this letter all the way through. So, but I really like how it started. This person says it's okay to use their name, so thanks, Jeff. During a public group prayer session, I prayed for a woman in her mid-30s who was single. I don't know that it says how old Jeff was.
Wait, was he praying for a woman or praying to attain
for
a woman?
No.
Okay.
All right, I'll finish it and then it'll become clear. I got pretty specific and prayed that she would find a romantic partner. Visual imagery and speaking your mind was pretty big in that Vineyard Church.
Oh.
What does that mean?
The Vineyard Church is a type of church. It's like Bethel or Hillsong, but Vineyard was very into the charismatic movements and
okay.
I'm going to do a thing on them that you'll enjoy. Okay.
Well, they shouldn't take the name of Martha's Vineyard in vain. Well, that's really upsetting to me. Okay. So speaking your mind was pretty big in that church, almost emphasized as a part of God's way of talking to us or something like a spiritual gift. So I prayed that she would find a man and that it would be like a thermostat clicking when reaching the right temperature in like a spring uncoiling. I realize now that I was describing extreme sexual and romantic frustration. I literally cringe to death every time I think of that moment. I know at one point I looked at her and she was looking at the pastor questioningly, and I just pressed on because I thought that's what you were supposed to do. I realize now that it was both inappropriate and extremely awkward, but that's what the church gets us to do. Oh my gosh. So, okay. So, Jeff, you didn't say here, like, how old you were and why you were praying for some woman in her mid-30s.
This would happen. Like, I get it. I can picture it. Someone goes up and you have a ministry of prayer. Like, anyone want to come up and pray for these people? And you pick someone and like, what's going on? Well, I just want to find the love of my life. And as I've said before, Christians don't realize we are the turkey bacon of society. We have grown up in churches that have convinced us that we have different gifts. You can't sing, it doesn't matter. You're in the choir. You can't teach, it doesn't matter. Every Sunday, third Sunday, you're teaching kids Sunday school. Like, we have it in our mind that we can do things. So I can absolutely see this person going, I've got this. Let me pray for this woman and getting caught up in word salad that ends up being X-rated. I can absolutely.
I just like that this poor woman was looking at the pastor like, I don't know why. I don't know why he's saying the things he's saying.
Please. Yeah.
Oh my God.
Rescue me.
And then damn it, now I have to stay after church and explain this to the pastor instead of go into the Bennigan's. Okay, anyway.
Miss Bennigan's.
What else you got?
Let me see. I'll do one more, and it's gonna be a surprise.
Has it been long enough since I've told my story about Bennigan's and going out after church, and I was having lunch and I spit out a piece of gristle, and the guy next to me asked if he could finish what I didn't eat, and I looked away, and then I looked back, and he had cleaned the whole plate, and he ate my gristle.
Okay, don't say it. Oh my God.
What?
I told you about the time I was dating that guy on that mission trip, and they served us shrimp something, and I started hearing all this crunching. And I looked, and he's like, I've never had shrimp before. And I'm like, oh. Anyway. Okay.
You're not going to like them if you'd eat them that way.
All right. This one, I am reading blind. This is from Paige. A lot of pressure, Paige. This is actually one of my earliest church memories, says Paige. I was raised in the church by evangelical parents, and one staple in our lives was Vacation Bible School. We know it well, VBS. Love it. The general structure was that it lasted 1 week, and the first days were all about hyping us up about Jesus and the Bible. Then, near the end, usually Thursday, they'd pass out a small index cards where we could discreetly share our feelings. The cards usually had 4 options. 1, I'm already saved. Oh, this is bringing back memories.
Oh, yeah. We said it at the same time.
Next one, I am not saved, but would like to be. The next one, I would not like to be saved. And the last one, I'm already saved, but I have questions. Having been raised in a very religious family, I prayed to be saved by age 4. Understand it? Looking at the card,
4.
I know. That's a
4.
teeny.
I'm sorry.
Got married at
There were so
8.
many things I was just mastering such tiny things by then. Wow. Okay.
Looking at the card, I thought very seriously before circling, I'm already saved, but I have questions. After this, I was pulled out of the group to spend some one-on-one time talking with an adult church leader who was also the mom of one of my friends. She spoke very kindly and seemed concerned. Paige, I heard you have some questions about your faith. What's going on? Didn't I do that well? I explained one of the most pressing questions in my life. I learned that the color black attracts sun and the color white reflects sun. So if you put something dark in the sun, it gets really hot. If this is true, why did God put black people in Africa? It's so hot and sunny there. Aren't they going to get too warm? I'm worried about them.
Oh my God.
Good Paige, bring it up. Let's bring in.
Good question.
We've got
Paige.
to make this full circle because of the bullshit. Okay.
Oh my
The
God.
look of bafflement on her
my
face
God.
was incredible. Karen adds, for she had never met a black person. No, she did not have an answer. I rolled on with
Yeah, I bet.
my questions, all of which were very strange questions. I just want to say to Paige, welcome to your autism, diagnosis. I rolled on with my questions, all of which...
Don't say
No, I am. It's fine. You've got these great questions. I rolled on with my questions, all of which were very strange questions asked by a small child trying to use their limited knowledge of science and religion to put the world together about different species of dinosaurs and how weather works and what's in space. I did not receive answers.
how weather works.
I'd be like that too. What
Such a
is
broad
wind? What
topic.
is it? After about 20 minutes of
I
integration.
love Jesus, but I have questions.
Exactly.
Not about
I
that.
have a lot of questions. Why does my mom have a headache? Okay. I did not receive answers. After about 20 minutes of interrogation, I was walked back to my group. Age 5, Fate's die was cast. I love it. And I love
my
the
God.
questions. And I think you learned. Don't ask questions, Paige.
Oh my
Don't
God.
do it.
No, just accept whatever they tell
That's
you.
right. Listen, the answer is God's ways are higher than our ways. And whatever doesn't kill you makes you stronger. Now go on, little Paigey.
Oh my God, I just love that lady probably went home and talked to her husband. Like, you wouldn't believe the questions she asked me.
She
I
did
didn't know what
not
to say.
understand them. They're so precious at that age. Well, thank you guys.
That's why we have figurines around the house to immortalize them. Precious moments.
Thank you
All right,
guys.
sorry. Go ahead. Say goodbye, y'all.
For that batch of ridiculous and perfect letters. Please send them in. We love them. And if you don't hear yours read, send in another. Just, our secretary is out this week, so it takes us a while.
All right. Well, thanks, guys. And do that thing that she said about rating the podcast.
Yeah.
Because it helps
Do it.
people find us.
Little.
And it's all part of
It's the game,
how the big machine works.
We play the game.
I know.
That's what we do.
I know.
We're ballers. All right. See you guys.
That's right. Goodbye.
Bye.
Ballers. Ew.